Snap Alleyway. It's your boy Malik. Thanks for tuning in.
I see it. Here's number one. Do you believe it? This one would be to tie Wilt for number two, and the next one would be to pass. For the night, at least. Brown for 80. This would be 18 for 20 from the line, and an 81-point game. 55 in the second half. Ladies and gentlemen, you have witnessed the second greatest scoring performance in NBA history.
So today, January 26, 2020. Today was a sad day. For those of you who haven't heard, the legendary Kobe Bryant unfortunately passed away. I believe him and his daughter, and there's also been some other casualties. So my prayers and thoughts goes out to Kobe Bryant's family, and I'm sure he meant a lot to a lot of people, the same way he meant a lot to me. But yeah, it makes you think about your mortality and how life can be cut short sometimes. But on that note, there were a few games that were being played today. Obviously, it was game 46 of the season for the Toronto Raptors. They were in San Antonio, a place where they hadn't won since December 28 of 2007, which is not a good stat to have, but unfortunately the Raptors were on a 10-game losing streak against the San Antonio Spurs, and they learned about the news for Kobe Bryant. For those of you who saw the game, they both the Raptors and the Spurs, they actually before they even started the game, they actually let the 24-second shot clock just run off in honor of number 24, which is obviously Kobe Bryant. And it was a touching moment. But yeah, the game started. The Raptors had a pretty good game. It was a good game to watch. They ended up winning 110 to 106. And Pascal Siakam had a great game actually. If we look at the stat sheet, Siakam had 35 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Second highest scorer was Kyle Lowry, 16, 4 and 4, 42% shooting. Siakam was at 52% shooting from the field, and Siakam shot 5 for 11 from 3. So it was a good game. Siakam is solidifying his position as an all-star starter. The Raptors needed that win. You don't want to be in that kind of company. You didn't want to get 11 straight losses in San Antonio, even though it's to a great coach like Greg Popovich. At some point, we're the defending champ this year, so we gotta make sure we put our mark down there. But the Raptors, they won 110, 106. Even though Siakam had an amazing game, I still had some concerns, obviously, with the closing moments of the game. I think once the Raptors went on a 9-0 run in the fourth to tie the game, they should have put the clamp down. They should have fed Siakam, and it shouldn't be hard. Like, especially when the momentum is on your side, it shouldn't be hard to put away a team. But they let DeRozan go off a little bit. DeRozan cut it down to 2. The Raptors did a good job playing some defense to kind of prolong the game. But they did miss a few shots. They did miss a few opportunities to close out that game. And then it took a couple defensive stops, a couple more defensive stops than they actually needed to, simply because they weren't making their own shots, and it kind of falls into the theme that I was talking about. But again, it's a learning curve. I'm glad that Siakam shot well. He played well. He was the best player on the floor. The next step is just for him to impose himself in the fourth quarter, and like I said, take over and make sure that there is no more run from the other team. So if we look at the Spurs had a decent game as well. DeRozan played 34 minutes. He had 14 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, shot 4 for 11, or sorry, 4 for 9 from the field. Um, yeah, it seems like the energy was a little down. Obviously people were aware of the news, the Kobe Bryant news, and the energy was a little bit down, even though they were playing hard. They weren't playing with the amount of passion. It seemed like they had a more respect for each other and more respect for the night. But at the same time, the Raptors came victorious, so that's all that matters. And if we look at the standings, um, they're 32 and 14, which they leapfrog the Miami Heat. So who would have believed the Raptors are second seed in the East now? Um, they're ahead of the Miami Heat by half a game, point 0.5, simply because they played one more game than the Heat. But the fact that they're second seed in the East, that's amazing. If they were to end up in a tiebreaker scenario, I think the Raptors already lost 2 games to the Heat, and there's one more game, so I would have to double check. It's either head-to-head matchup or who had the best record against the conference. Um, but one of these two factors is the primary deciding factor to break down a tiebreaker. But yeah, the Raptors have a pretty good shot at being second seed in the East. And again, I'm not going to get too excited because we got to see what happens at trade deadline. But so far, so good. But yeah, again, it's a sad night. Sad night. I'm sure the NBA is going to be doing something special for Kobe. Kobe and his family, obviously, and all the other victims who were involved. Um, they did have a couple other games, and some of the other teams, I believe in Denver, they their game started a little bit later, so they did do a bigger tribute at the start of the game, and yeah, there's gonna be a lot more conversations throughout the week. So yeah, in light of this, I'm just gonna cut it short. I'm gonna allow you guys to obviously digest some of the news that's been coming out. Before I do so, I'm just going to give out the game ball. So in this game, the game ball is going to go to Pascal Siakam. 37 minutes, he scored 35 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, plus minus of 15. So yeah, he led our team today. And yeah, leave some comments, favorite memories, Kobe,